This is Philip H. Anselmo, and you are listening to Talk to Me with Joshua.
What is up? Welcome to Talk to Me. This is episode 204. The guest this week is Marzi Montazeri of Exhorder and his project Heaviest Texas. Marzi is a fantastic guitar player. You might know him from Exhorder, Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, Superjoint, his solo albums with Tim Ripper Owens, and the new project Heaviest Texas. If you love the Southern style metal, you will love Heaviest Texas. One of my favorite new albums, going to be one of my top albums of 2019. The Heaviest Texas record will be out April 19th on Crunchy Western Records. And it also features Kyle Thomas of Exhorder on vocals. Great stuff, and we will check out a tune after the interview with Marzi Montazeri. Thank you for checking out the Jordan Rudess interview from earlier this week. So you get 2 episodes of Talk to Me this week. Make sure you are sharing those with your friends. Make sure you are heading over to iTunes or Apple Podcast, as it's now called, leaving a nice 5-star rating, nice 5-star review. If you're on Podchaser, make sure to leave a nice review there. Or if you're on any of the other sites, make sure just to leave a review. If you can hit 5-star rating, hit review, do that for me. Head over to Facebook, leave a nice, it's a Facebook recommendation. That will be much appreciated. Also, if you want to support the podcast monetarily, head over to patreon.com/talktome. You can leave a donation, become a patron, do what you will over there. And I will be forever grateful. And you guys know that the Talk to Me podcast is brought to you by Good Company with Bowling. Yes, that is our good friend Scott Bowling down in Atlanta, Georgia. Looks like he just released an episode with Mikey from Islander and Matt Pinfield going over a few things. There's also a full-length Matt Pinfield interview, Eddie Trunk, Jose Mangan, Head from Korn, members of Stuck Mojo, Fozzy, Seven Dust, and so much more. So head over to scottgoodcompany.com or Good Company with Bowling on YouTube. Let him know that the Talk to Me podcast sent you. So let's get into some classic Exhorder. Let's talk to Marzi Montazeri. Let's check out some Heaviest Texas, get Rob Rivera's pick from the kit, and then I will talk to you momentarily. right, man. Well, let's dive into it, man. The album Heaviest Texas. The one thing I noticed, man, as soon as it came out, every listener of the show, every journalist friend I have basically reached out to me and like, dude, have you heard this Heaviest Texas? It's going to be your new favorite band. And, they know my love of, the Pantera style metal. And they're like, this is going to be the new one for you.
Yeah, I get the Pantera style kind of thing. I get it. Well, I'm glad, dude. I get it. I'm good. I'm glad you like it. Me and Kyle put our hearts in it, man. And let me ask you, do you have the whole album?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I think, it's one of those guys that's going to unravel itself with you. I've produced it, and I want it in particular for the songs to breathe as songs did, to travel through the distances that they need to express to get the message, to get whatever Kyle was saying, to get it across. Musically, I wanted modulations. I wanted the guitar solos to be in different key changes from the actual song. So all these songs, they took a lot of time and care and a lot of care for the songs. I combed through it a lot prior to sending them to Kyle. So I was 100% myself, confident with it when I sent it to Kyle. Kyle outdid it, man. I knew he was going to do great, but I had no clue. I knew, when you know it in the back of your head, but then, it's just like, what are you going to do? I got this badass house, man, but it's not built yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
What are you going to do? Go brag? No, you wait. And you never talk about it. Once it's built, you let the people that have see it come back to you and say, look, man, I saw your house, man. I saw the architecture, saw the design. I dig it. And that's basically what we got. This is our little baby, man, we've been working on. I think every song stands on its own and it's quite different from, like To Keep a Promise starts off the record. And I guess maybe you could say It's On has the same type of like rah, rah, rah kind of like, vibe. Death of a Prodigy is like brutal. But then it starts, the rest of the songs, they're different, man. They're all different, just the fourth song alone, Blind, goes through very different avenues, So I made sure I had like a different, like some sort of magic installed in each song, both lyrically and like, musically. But aside from being a song that says something, I wanted either a guitar solo or a noise or some kind of effect or something special, like you cook and you put that extra ingredient in it. So I was trying to do that. There's nobody out there to tell you to do it because I produced it. So you can imagine, as a producer, you have to, look at everything, both good and bad. And so there to make final decisions. And it takes a bit, man. It takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of soul search.
And this is the one thing I noticed about the album too, is you would be going and you would already be sucked into a song and how like heavy it is or the vocal or whatnot. But then you would get to a point where, a guitar solo would come up or a guitar noodle would come up and it would completely come out of nowhere and just like put another smile on your face. You can definitely tell you put a lot of care into the solo work on this.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Just on the solo work in particular, I triple tracked the leads.
Wow. I
did the Randy Rhoads approach. So, and a lot of some guitar players have noticed, but in truth, I didn't, they call me the high priest of distortion. That's my name.
I saw that.
But I didn't use a lot of distortion on this album. In fact, I took the gain out. And I went for, a really powerful sound, and I knew that the clarity would come through. Like every note would be a boom, just be punching through. So I put no saturation on it. And so the leads are clean. Practically clean tones, not really saturated, distorted tones. So what I did was triple track them, put one on the left, one on the right, and one in the center, and collectively they create mass. And we didn't even have to bring up the leads in volume in the mixes because I'd done them 3 times. So they create the volume themselves by being there. So it created a sound. Again, it ain't nothing I came up with. I grew up listening to Randy Rhoads, and now I'm friends with Max Norman, who produced both Dire and the Madman and Blizzard of Oz, who I'm trying to get on the next album who was giving me a freaking hard time about it too. I sent him our debut because he wanted to listen to it. We saw each other and met each other in person at Randy Rhodes. So we known each other with email and stuff like that because Kyle knows him and works with him. But I've never met him. So, obviously, I grew up on these two records. To work with someone that did these records would be a dream come true for me. So he said, okay, well, send me your album. I sent it to him, and he really was moved by it, man. He gave me, embarrassing comments to even repeat.
Yeah.
But then, and he then said to me, "You don't need me." And I was like, "Say what?" He goes, "You did a great job. You don't need me. This album really sounds great. You did a really good job." I was like, "Well, I do want you. I do. I want to work with you." And then he was like, "Haha, nice gesture. But this album is really great." And he kept going back to the album being great. I was like, "Oh, is this really happening?" So I got done, I guess this nod of approval from the master. And so I'm still going to work with him. He's not dodging me, but I'm really proud of the fact that he liked my work. As a guitar player is one thing. As a songwriter is a bigger thing. Producer is even a bigger thing. You have to serve the music so much. You have to be entirely selfless. You have to have a vision to see it through. You can't have no ego while you're walking in here. Can't have a bad attitude with the people you're working with, from the engineer to your musicians. You just have to be captain, Mm-hmm. You have to be on all the time, and you got to steer that ship, man, till you get it to the shore. And I finally did, man. You're not going to believe. I'm going to celebrate April 19th. I'm going to celebrate. Well, my birthday's April 15th. I'm going to have a hell of a birthday weekend all the way to the release, which is the 19th. I can't wait. This one's going to be worthwhile because, I tell you what, it's not because, it's my birthday. It's because, I accomplished something. And I put it out, and it means a lot to me.
And you should be very proud of it. Like I said, it's an incredible record. And the one thing I was kind of going back to was went back and listened to your album with Ripper Owens today a little bit. And, that was under your name plus Tim Ripper Owens. This Heaviest Texas is as kind of presented as a band. Is it a band or is it like a solo album with a band name? How do you look at it?
It is a band. It's definitely a band, but I would like, great question, because I clarified, because the solo album, and I got a Ripper on it. I gave away credits to a drummer, and and to a bass player, but I played the bass and somebody else played the drums,
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell that I do like the band thing. I grew up on it. I wanted to feed that energy into it. Heaviest Texas is for sure a band, because that's the premise of this band, was the fact that it used to be called Marzi, and it used to be a 3-piece. It wasn't called Marzi because I named it that. My bass player was like, "You got a catchy name, let's name it that." And I couldn't come up with a name. Grown up with Van Halen, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, blah, 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 blah. It's my dream to not be the guy. I'm not Yngwie. I never want to be Yngwie. I don't want to be the center of attention. I want to be part of a band. I grew up watching people that had chemistry. So unfortunately, in this day and age, it's hard to create that. Sometimes when you look at, I live in a city of 5 million people, and the musicians I play with are not from Houston. So go figure.
Right.
Sometimes you can't find that chemistry. All of my life, I've played. You dig me? I live in one of the biggest cities in America, and my entire career, the musicians I've played with are from Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's insane, the connection we have. And, I still have it. Even my bassist, who lives now in Texas, is from Louisiana. Kyle's from Louisiana. And so what I did was I went the hard way. I had no choice, I did the guitars and all the strings in Houston in the recording, and I had done a click track. I sent it to Anoop in Maryland. He put drums on it. Sent it to Chris Collier in L.A., who mixed and mastered it. He also is a multi-talented musician. He played bass on it. Sent it to Kyle in New Orleans. He did the vocals. Came back to me. I checked it out. Sent it back to L.A. Started mixing and mastering it. It's a long, tedious process. I suppose it would be a lot funner, to get a 12-pack and roll a couple, and then go into a room and hammer it out and sweat it out in old school and stuff like that. I had to do that solo. I had to imagine all things. I had to imagine being in the band and doing all that. It's so organic. It's still organic because I had to do it, but the thrill of playing with these guys, wasn't there because I had to do it. So that's the difference. I still treat it as a band, but I did it. I wrote the songs, but it's still a band effort. I didn't. I guided the drum parts. I wrote the bass parts, but I didn't play them. So now I put together a live band. So I guess you could say safely that Heavy's Texas is really me and Kyle Thomas. And we put a live band together. Obviously, we didn't just pick anybody. We pick out two guys that were both able to play, sing, and were great personalities to be on the road with, because that, above and beyond anything, you're a family on the road. You can't have anybody get on the road and then just have personal problems, because we all have personal problems. You can't go on the road and have a me in the band. You have to be all for one for all kind of attitude, which is what's been going on in my life with Exhorder. That's why things thrive so much. And Kyle and I, when we were on the road with Exhorder, we roomed together. So we've literally lived on the road together. So we know, and him and I, much less, have not even frowned at each other once.
It's always
we
great.
haven't even given a dirty look. Dude, I'm not kidding you. And I don't foresee it. I don't even see it. Him and I, our relationships, we've never one time have had like even a disagreement, about anything. He's just like, I literally admire Kyle, adore him, man. I love him as a human being. He's my favorite vocalist. He's the most versatile person. But the LSD bus, the lead singer disease bus, missed Kyle Thomas on that day he was supposed to pick him up, because he's the most humblest individual I know. And I can't begin to tell you about his work ethics and how much power and passion he puts into it. He is an undeniable force, man, that's been ripped off his whole entire career. And hopefully now he'll get some light on, how much of an original he really is. Kyle Thomas is the real deal. He's been ripped off. His style's been ripped off, but he is the real deal. Exhorder was the real deal. It was a favorite band growing up, and I remember being in the bars back in the day where you could smoke inside and stuff like that, and then hearing this one song going, man, this is raw as hell. Who is this? And they're like, Alabama Thunder Pussy. I'm like, who is that singing? They're like, dude, that's Kyle Thomas. I'm like, get out of here. So it's just like, I was so happy when he was in that band. Like, I'm so happy he's in trouble. He's just I'm so happy I'm in a band with him in Exhorder. His baby, that's his baby. Him and Vinny's baby is Exhorder. The third album's coming out with Exhorder. I mean, this thrilling times, man. My album comes out April 19th. Exhorder comes out, in the fall. This is the first year I got two albums coming out that I've put every bit of my experience, life experiences, love, passion, everything right on the line. And I did not repeat myself one lick on the Heaviest Texas album, and I didn't put one lick on the Exhorder's new album that I had put on, entirely different worlds. I played different, and Kyle sang different. We're like, it's stupid to be in the same band, same type of band twice.
So with I saw, the Heaviest Texas and the Exhorder connections there. What came first? Was Heaviest Texas, and then you joined Exhorder, or was it vice versa?
This is exactly what happened. What happened was, Kyle and I talked in 2009 about doing something. Then and in 2010, I went to another band for a few years and played with them till that was over. And when I was over, I called Kyle immediately and said, listen, I got this band. He knew it, and stuff like, and I was like, but I sing in it, it's a 3-piece. And this promoter in Shreveport really wants me to open up for Anthrax and Death Angel, I think it was. And I was like, would you like to sing? He's like, yeah, man, send me the songs. I sent him this material. In fact, you know what I sent him? I sent him the stuff that Ripper had sang on.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, well, I got these songs that are originals. I got these other songs. So there's 6 songs total. I sent it to him. We didn't have time to rehearse. We met in the hotel lobby, and then we went to the show. We showed up at 6-something. We were like, well, hopefully we'll get a sound check. No sound check. Just get on stage, 30 minutes, hammer it out. I couldn't turn my body the stage was like, they had this, like my amp was like literally behind me. I couldn't turn. Kyle's space was right on the drums. I think the drums were at the rim of the stage, so he was on the other side of it. I couldn't see him. But man, as soon as he started singing, I was showered with this joy that I've been looking for such a long time, and it hit me. And it's what's beautiful. It happens when it's supposed to happen, and you won't even know it. It hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I was flipping out. And then afterwards, he was like, "Man, thank you so much, man. I needed this, man." And I was like, "Yeah, thank you so much." So long story short, I was like, "Man, I'm going to go back and write a fucking record." And then he goes, "Do it." And so I go back and I start working. I started working on this record, and sorry about that.
You're right.
I'm knocking shit out in the room, and I'm saying sorry to you. There's nobody here but the dog. I went to the studio, and I was in the very, very last song of the record, which is the last song of the record. "Love Gets Us All," ironically, but it was literally the last song being recorded on the record. So I was on this motherfucker, and then he calls me and he goes, "Vinny and I ran into each other, and we're talking about, doing Exhorder and stuff like that. Would you like to do Exhorder?" And I said, "Sure." So he goes, "I'll have Vinny call you." So then Vinny calls me, and then that's it. So I actually left the song behind. I was halfway done with it. I left it behind, and I went and dove in, because let me tell you, when I said yes to Vinny, the next day Blabbermouth said we were playing St. Vitus Bar in New York, the 9th and 10th of last year's February, and said we were playing Slaughter in the Vatican Friday and The Law Saturday. And Vinny kept saying, "Yeah, it took our original guitar player Jay 6 months to learn Slaughter. Now I got 3 months to learn both albums." And I want to tell you, man, of all the music out there, this is the toughest thing I had to learn, man. This was like one of the most grueling experiences I put myself through. I'm a mom and a dad at home. I had to just cook a meal for a week and tell my kids, like, "Here you go. I'm gone." And I'm like, I'll get it. Yeah, I'm not giving nobody rides. You need something. Here's an Uber. So, here's an Uber for you. And so I was 16 hours a day till we went and played those shows in New York. And then we came back, and then all of a sudden we got hit with Europe all summer. So when we were done, I went back and nailed this thing, the song, and then went after the production level of it. So I did this in the middle of Heaviest Texas been existing. I made a commitment and a decision to join Exhorder. Not to take anything away from my band, but it was a no-brainer for me, man. Playing in the Exhorders, and it's not a normal band. It's got so much integrity. Vinny and Kyle and Chris Nail were Exhorder to me, and they mean a lot to me. And to play with them now and have their respect and mutual admiration for one another, and pushing the envelope, keep pushing it, and being around one another, and just this positive reinforcements between us. It's very, very powerful, man. And Vinny listening to my album and praising Heaviest Texas and never thinking anything about it. There's just no weirdness about being in these two bands of us. They each are serving their purpose, and they're going to come at different times. So yeah, that came first, and then I did this, and now we're going to get up. I'm sure I'm going to get myself in a position where I'm going to be juggling. Now Exhorder's management, Heaviest Texas management, and then you got both bands trying to gig. So they're racing to book who. And we're in both bands, so I'll just have to see what happens. But Heaviest Texas is my baby, and it is my debut, and I can't go to sleep on it. I got to make sure that we do this. So we put out, we're on schedule. We put out the song to keep a promise. I believe we're putting in the lyric video out next, just to keep everybody happy. Then our second single comes out. I go back to Houston tonight, and Friday, all the guys come into town. Our director, Mark Bouchard, comes to town, and then Saturday we start shooting. a video for King of Fools, and we proceed. And Sunday and Monday we shoot a video for Love Gets Us All.
One thing I did have a question about was, you're kind of you're almost like a missing link in between the Pantera camp and the Exhorder camp, being in Exhorder and then also playing in Superjoint and the Illegals. What is that like for you?
Well, I mean, like, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, the obvious Pantera Exhorder connection back in the day when Exhorder doesn't get as big as Pantera.
You want my version of it, or how do you want me to explain? I was there from the very beginning.
Was he? Okay.
And Daryl was one of my best friends, and I totally know about the differences between the two camps. And I mean, the story, the truth. I know the truth. I know what happened. I know I was there. I saw it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was friends with Dime, and when they were glam, Dime was as great of a guitar player on power metal as he was on the last Pantera record. Like I don't know how to explain this. He was just as good. He was just fucking great. But as far as their style,
mm-hmm.
they were extremely glamish. You know what I mean? So what happened was Phil's favorite band was Exhorder, and he really wanted to be an Exhorder. He really wanted to be an Exhorder. I think there was a small period. I think Kyle had left where they had auditioned him, but then Kyle came back, and they were like, "Sorry, man, our guy came back, so you have to go." And I think Phil was in Pantera after power metal, and he really, really, really loved Exhorder and wanted to be in Exhorder. So, and since he couldn't be with him, so I think he just took the sound, took the style, and went back and said, I don't remember it, because basically he said, "This is what we're going to mold ourselves after. This is, or I'm going to quit." So he made a threat to him, and then they changed their style. And then it went into the studio, and they came up with Cowboys from Hell. So inspiration happens all the time. I mean, I always use this analogy. It's like, it doesn't make it right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
David Van Halen is like undeniably one of my favorite bands. Eddie Van Halen is God. I don't even consider him a guitar player. His sonic movement. Like, I can't even explain his guitar playing. It's a sonic movement. It's not even guitar playing.
Yeah.
But
no.
I could have sworn I heard my sister. Jim Dandy is the original David Lee Roth. I mean, if you go look at YouTube videos now and watch Jim Dandy from like 1974 doing Go Jim Dandy Go, and you go look at David Lee Roth on there, you're like, oh my God. Even the way he talked to the crowd, and they were like, "Hey, how's everybody going?" And drop his voice of an octave and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, I freaked out. But you know what? I still love Van Halen. I still love Van Halen because, the tone of voice that he used. And so, it's things like that happen in music, and we don't know where to come from and stuff like that. And that's the kind of case with Exhorder. Now, as a guitar player, yeah, if you want to sit down and do the math on it, there's nothing compared to to Exhorder. It's very, very original, man. It's insane difficult, man. Even for this time, it's just like, I don't know. I personally think Vinny is a genius, man. And I don't say that about too many people, but I like, not only it really has nothing to do with me being in a band with him. That's my opinion. I was kicked out of Exhorder tomorrow, I would still keep I would still to say the same. He's a fucking genius. His writing capabilities and abilities are above par, man. And he's been doing this since he was 18. So it's not like they ripped off any. I look back, man, because I used to always look at bands and go, man, they sound like this and they sound like that and they sound like this and they sound like that. But when you go back to Exhorder and the time they were doing what they were doing, name a band that was doing that. It's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible. And what made them so great was the groove. And the groove came from that being from New Orleans, that backbeat, man. It gave them, like Chris Nail playing the way he did is just incredible. All of a sudden, and when we're on a festival, we're the only heavy band out there you can shake your ass to. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's funny because we're out there grooving, like we're dancing to shit. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. So that's really, you know, without getting into political or like passionate or this or that way, or like be like get into some kind of, because obviously I know it's been existing for a long time. Um, and I'm gonna get involved. That's the truth, though. That's basically what happened. That's the
Mm-hmm.
evolution of Pantera, is because of Exhorder. You know, so you know, one fed the other, but not to discredit anybody in that band because they did their own thing, and they basically really, really, really simplified Exhorder sound. Because honestly, when I learned these songs, I would go to Vinny and I go, "Why, man? Why? Why? You got a whole entire song here, and it took me like a week to learn this part, and it's gone away in 3 seconds. Why, man? Why are you doing this?" He's just like, I'm like, "Are you really? Were you trying to just fuck with the kids that were going to learn how to write this?" It's like, dude, how does your brain work, man? It's insane in a good way. And he's a sweetheart, man. And then now we got the new sort of record, and it's crazy. So, but you know, growing up, we all kind of came from the same kind of school of playing. Like for instance, me, I
Mm-hmm.
was influenced by Exhorder, but I never took their sound. You know, I love Vinny, but Vinny's got a complete different guitar sound than I did. He scoops out his mids. I play with nothing but mids. So Heaviest Texas, for me, it's just these are songs that I'm writing, and I guess and my influences are Van Halen, Black Sabbath, and Zeppelin, and Pink Floyd, and ZZ Top. So if I'm writing, it's like kind of like I'm not trying to be those people. I'm just trying to tell you what I liked growing up. Like Van Halen, when the beat would come in, their punctuation, their dynamics were just like out, second to none. Sabbath with the Zeppelin with the mystique, Pink Floyd with just the slow grind. Look, I all love these things. I love Billy Gibbons with his blues playing. Being from Texas, it's like that just kind of goes into it. How do you morph all that stuff into what? And then you're like, okay, man, I'm going to just write a bunch of songs, man, that I feel like doing. So I don't think you can really categorize this Heaviest Texas album in one thing. You know, I always call it, I just call it a modern day. It's like we're
Mm-hmm.
truly and honestly an American, like modern hard rock band. I wouldn't even call us metal. I think what's heavy about us is our delivery.
Oh yeah,
But I mean,
it's a
I put
great
out a
album.
rock record as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean by that? And I guess I'm kind of downplaying it by saying rock because of what what rock means today. It's almost like it kind of means watered down or weak. But rock to me is Van Halen, Aerosmith, Black Sabbath, Zeppelin, ZZ Top. That's to me, that's rock and roll. It's still powerful. Like Eddie's sound is still bigger than anything I've ever heard, and the dude doesn't use stomp boxes. It's just like fuck. So, learning from the guys I grew up with, not personally, but kind of like listening and then figuring shit out, and that's what we're here. I'm looking forward to touring this, man, more than anything, and I'm looking forward to sophomore record. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very looking forward to it. I don't know when that may happen because of the time and playing like almost 250 gigs next year. So and it's like maybe 300 between the two bands. Like literally, well, I might be out for 10 months out next year and just have 2 months at home.
So yeah, I was going to ask you what the rest of 2019 looks like for you, because this album comes out April 19th, and then you've got the Exhorder album later this year. Are you going to be able to get some Heaviest Texas touring in before the Exhorder album?
Since the Heaviest Texas is brand new and like a lot of people don't know about us, we kind of almost, and then you have to book in advance. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have the luxury to book yet. So we have to kind of almost wait to let our album come out. And then our manager is on it. Our manager is working on doing something regional right now,
Right.
Houston and New Orleans, because we're both from there, and like maybe surrounding cities that are interested in us, just so we can get the ball rolling, get the YouTube videos up and show people what we can do live. Our intent is to tour. And 2019 is going to be a weird year because I can't predict what's going to happen right now. I know a month out of this year because Exhorder does drop the record. So I know a whole entire month right now we're going on the road. I'm not supposed to say with who or what month, but I know we're doing that. Around the time of the release, we're gone that entire month. So I know a whole entire month is going out of this year, or possibly a little bit more belongs to Exhorder. So since I know Exhorder's year really is 2020 for the record, I'm trying to do anything and everything I can to expose and get Heaviest Texas out to people. So right around April 19th, man, I'm gonna give a gift to the listener that I've been wanting to do since the beginning of this record. I can't mention it because obviously it wouldn't be a surprise, but
Right.
But when people compliment me on the record, I say thanks, man. All I'm trying to do is give it back. All these years that I lived off of music and it served me a purpose, I'm trying to give it back. I'm trying to be a servant to the song, to the music. So that way I can give it back to my fellow human brothers and sisters, and with supreme amounts of integrity. When then, for years to come, after my death, you can look at it and hear it and go, you know what? They did a good record, man. This meant something. So I don't think something like that is something you talk about. So it's something it has to kind of like happen. But while recording it, while every note was being laid down, while it's being mixed, while it's being mastered, I combed through it, and I'm happy with it. Obviously, as a producer, I couldn't fucking say, yeah, let's do this. And just, yeah, man, let's put it out. It's like, okay, it's cool, man. I'm tired. I need to go home. So pack it up. Let's go. It wasn't that at all. He's like, I'm going to sit here till the time is right. The time was right. Now it's coming out. Now I'm stressing out because I'm going to outdo it.
Well, absolutely, man. So what's the, once it's out, what's the best way for people to pick it up?
Best way to do it is it'll be available online anywhere. If you want a physical copy, you can go to heaviesttexas.com. And right off the first page should be a store where you can get anything, and that's the best way to do it. By the way, with the album, when it comes out April 19th, we got a freaking store of merchandise coming out. Lot, everything Heavy as Texas you can name. We got coming along with it for our fans. CrunchyWesternRecords.com also. There's two websites, even mine, MarziMontazeri.com. All three of those storefronts will go all directed to the same store where you can get it. You can pre-order it right now on heaviesttexas.com, and you can sign up for a mailing list and get a gift. But that's about it. I'm just doing lyric videos right now, getting ready for it. 2 more videos coming out, and then I'm doing guitar playthrough videos for it. All this for this album. So
looks like you got your work cut out for you, man. Well, like we said, the album's out April 19th. Heavy as Texas, self-titled, Crunchy Western Records, and the first single looks like to be "To Keep a Promise." What's a little story behind that before we play it?
To Keep a Promise is literally something. It's personal, but it's something that could relate to anyone out there. Is when you have had enough, or when you are determined and you make a promise to yourself, not anyone else, to uphold a certain value in life. And the song is about me keeping integrity with music and art, and not bending no matter what. Like having steel boots on during a storm, and then weathering the storm, being hit in the face with everything that's got all the obstacles, but yet not moving. That's what To Keep a Promise is about. And it's about withstanding all the pain, but keeping true to yourself and keeping integrity alive. That's it. It's about purity. And on my Facebook, I've had people going into rehab or entering rehab. They're saying, this is my theme song right now. So it's an empowering song, and it's not negative, and it's very positive, and it's just let you know we're all the same. And it's got a strong message about it. It's nothing negative about it. To keep a promise to yourself to be better than you were yesterday.
All right, Marzi, man, thanks for your time today, and good luck with the record.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Be the one caught in a lie. Be the one lost inside. Be the one living to die. I take inside to save me. Ever since youth, I've been running in and out. Now I'm the one that's yelling what it's all about. First there was 1 or 2. What am I to do? You know I'm living. It'll break you. Never before have I thought, could it be like this? I swear this time that I will keep my promise to myself.
everybody? This is Rob Rivera from the band Nonpoint, and this is my weekly's Rob's Pick from the Kit on the Talk To Me podcast. Before I get to the pick, I just want to let you guys know that Nonpoint is going to be going out with POD starting May 10th in Newport, Kentucky, and on select dates we'll have Hyro the Hero, and on all the dates we'll have Islander and Nine Shrines. So it goes all the way up to June 9th. It ends in Pasadena, California. You can go to nowpoint.com and get all the ticket information, links, etc. And nowpointstore.com, we're offering 2 killer VIPs, an acoustic VIP, and a bus hang. So go there and check all that information. And getting to this week's pick, I'm going to be talking about this band called Arrival of Autumn. I am just getting familiar with the band, and my buddy Sean Glass is their manager, and he's always shooting me new music, and he sent me this release, and I think it's, my personal opinion, it's one of the best metal records of 2019. It's going to be definitely in my top 10. I've been listening to it closely. Really incredible musicians. I'm really hoping that we can either tour with the band or I can catch them live somewhere. So check them out. Their new album is called Harbinger, and this is called Better Off Without by Arrival of Autumn.
I am the blueprint for a system that's broken down. The framework of failure all led to the ground. Erase the past, disguise and change your ways. Forget the things you crave. Make up the suffering. A story like a dream tormenting me. I won't forget the constant misery. I'm sad to be
Huge thank you to Marzi for coming on the podcast. Huge thank you to Rob Rivera. Make sure you're checking out Robcast. I believe it comes out this Friday. Rob Rivera's own podcast. That's going to be great. So you have to check that out. Check out the Heaviest Texas album. Check out the Exhorder album. Check out Exhorder on tour this summer, later in the year, and all that good stuff. And thank you guys for checking out the Talk To Me podcast each and every week. Make sure you are sharing with your friends. And until next Thursday, I am Joshua Toomey, and this has been the Talk To Me podcast.